Welcome to episode 208 of Watch and Complain, watchingcomplain.com.
But yeah, like I was saying, do you notice how Watch and Complain has kind of come into your lexicon now? Because the girls were asking me, I was going to watch something, and they were like, "What are you going to watch that for?" I'm like, just watch and complain about it. And I was like, oh, wow.
I did it.
I said the podcast.
Finally.
If only other people would.
Finally, it's in my vernacular. What are we watching and complaining about today, Rob?
I believe it's a film that we're probably not going to, at least I'm not going to be doing much complaining about.
A lesser-known film.
Yes, about a lesser-known man who I am honestly surprised by. Now, I don't expect everybody to know everything about Oppenheimer, but people should know kind of the key things about him. And I'm surprised by how many people have no idea who he is. You know, that the one name I didn't expect in this movie, like a lot of other people, was Heisenberg, because all of us were like, "Oh, Breaking Bad, Heisenberg." But I knew before going to this movie, I knew two things about Oppenheimer. Technically, three things. Everybody was like, "What's his first name?" I knew his first name was Robert. His name was Robert Oppenheimer.
It's the ego.
I knew that he was arguably the father of the atom bomb, and as he got older, he fought against nuclear armament. He did not think that any country should have a nuclear arsenal because it could bring about the destruction of the world. Also, I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. Everybody knows all that one. But those two most important ones, that he was the father of the bomb and that he fought to no longer have a bomb, or I'm sure someone that's an Oppenheimer expert will say that I'm wrong on that, but those are the two things I knew about him. And I was surprised as I was talking about this movie to other people, how many people didn't know that. They didn't know. They're like, "Oh, he's the guy." I'm like, "Yeah, he was the guy that kind of ran the whole program." And I think every person I talked to about it, none of them knew that he fought for no nuclear arsenals afterwards.
Yeah, I learned, not that part, but the beginning part of this, the first half of this movie. I learned that stuff from the show Manhattan.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yep.
And I loved that show. It was a good show. It only went, two seasons, I think?
I never watched it.
And I was sad that it ended. But I learned a lot from that. And it was very he was not, Oppenheimer was not a part of the show except for when he would come into the camp here and there. So it was almost like he was supervising and not doing as much.
Also, I want to point out that if you can see a really nice graphic that Phil's put behind us, the reason it looks as good as it does was he had me down on my hands and knees fixing the bottom part of the green screen to stretch it as good as I could. So you're welcome.
Talking about some Photoshop
for being on my hands and knees. Just leave the green.
It's that other photo.
You know what? Don't let the photo in there. Just leave the green screen up there. Because we're
the whole
professional.
Show. I'm just going to put an atom bomb going off the whole time.
The whole time.
And then the Hulk.
He just jumps across the screen. But he'll disappear because he's green. So you won't see him.
No, but he'll be...
Anyways.
Take the reins, Rob.
I enjoyed this movie a lot. I knew I was going to enjoy it because I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan. There's... One thing I hate about a lot of people that go to films nowadays is they jump on bandwagons. It became, after the failure of Tenet, it became cool, or even a little bit before the not failure, but weak performance of Tenet.
I didn't like Tenet.
Near did I. It's my least favorite of all of his films. But there became, because he's an intelligent man and an intelligent filmmaker who is very serious about the craft, it became kind of cool to hate on Christopher Nolan, and I've never understood that. It's like all these people now that try to hate on Martin Scorsese for saying that, there's my dog ready to kill someone. Hate on Martin Scorsese because he said that comic book movies are shit. It's like, dude, have you, the movies that you have watched, every movie that you have watched has ripped something off from Martin Scorsese. So you should go fuck yourself if you say that Martin Scorsese sucks. Regardless, I was very excited hearing about this. Its runtime was
long,
foreboding. Yeah, a little. You're like, ooh, it was
3
daunting.
hours on the mark, I believe.
But it only felt its time. It For me, it only felt its time with Florence Pugh because I do not like Florence Pugh as an actress. Anytime she was on, I was
that
like,
was coming.
yeah, it felt its time. But you know what? She was adequate. She was perfectly adequate.
Boobs.
Yeah, she didn't. I'm not a big fan of her.
Well,
Even
you
with
like
boobs.
bigger boobs, I know.
Yeah, but even like with that nudity scene, it kind of seemed pointless in all honesty. But whatever.
There was a lot of pointless parts to this movie. There was.
There not as many as I think. I don't think there was as many as you would have thought. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it. It's probably the most fun I've had in the movie this year. Not the most fun, the most kind of enraptured I've been in the movie this year.
You said last week you were trying to go last week, but you couldn't go because it was all sold out, except for the front row, which we don't do.
No, especially not with this fucking movie.
We have ethics and
ethics are what stop us.
Yeah, but if you're in the front row, you're just seeing stretched out people.
Look, this stretched out green screen behind you that you see that someone put so much effort into stretching out. Gotta make sure the tape's holding. I like seeing stretched out.
How was your experience?
Good. I went with so ours was a packed house, and the one thing that really made me happy. I hate seeing movies with audiences. I hate the movie theater experience, but if I have to go, I was impressed that there was a whole myriad of ages and races going to see this movie. And what I really liked was as people were coming in, there was
all the racists.
Yeah, the racists, the guys that came in dressed like the KKK.
I just wanted to see all the white people.
They were like, we want to see the Japanese get blown up. And we were like, that doesn't happen in this movie. Son of a bitch. But
so there was happy there was no Pearl Harbor scene.
Yeah, right. They were like, there should be Pearl Harbor. We don't want to see America get killed. But there was like people that were around and probably the same age as Oppenheimer. Like there were some old people. And what was great was, so I sat down. I went and saw this with a friend of mine, Keith, on my more successful podcast.
I invited him through Rob, but Rob didn't extend the invitation, so I'm sorry, Keith.
Yeah, sorry, Keith.
You're not watching.
You could have hung out with Phil. Yeah, he's not going to watch this.
And he's so if he does, he's going to be like, oh, great. Hang out with Phil.
Now I'm getting fucking trouble. You guys should have gone together without me completely.
We could have done the show without you.
Ah, right. See, I could be kicked out of it. Just you got to keep on using my house and green screen.
You're just in the background saying
recording
shit.
Everything.
You might as well sit down, Rob.
You guys handcuff me to the fucking washing machine.
Hey, you just want to be handcuffed.
Yeah, exactly. So I can get stretched out. But no. So in front of me, there was 5 Indian kids who were maybe and I mean Indian like. What do you say?
But I was the one digging my hole.
No. Not Indian as in Canadian Indian. Indian as in like Eastern Indian.
Okay.
And they were like, I want to say mid-20s age. And then beside me, the guy was maybe, I want to say between 70 and 80 years old. So it was a huge, and the whole audience was made up of that. Different ages, different races. And it was great because to me, that really says that you put out a movie that puts effort into, and it sounds stupid to say, but puts effort into being a movie that people want to see.
Yeah.
Like when you make your Ant-Man and Beatlemania, when you make The Flash, when you make these movies, there's nothing interesting about them.
There's a flash in the pan.
Yeah, there's nothing that tells an audience this is something you're going to want to see. And Oppenheimer did that. It was like, it's an experience. You're going to enjoy seeing it. You're going to learn some shit. You're going to see really good acting, really good directing, really good cinematography. And so people wanted to see that. So I love that it was packed with people.
As long as you know going into it that it's going to be dry.
What do you mean dry?
It was a dry movie. It wasn't action packed.
No, not at all.
It was very like slow, methodical, dry. Dry is the best word I can.
For me, I think methodical is a better word. There was so much attention paid to developing these characters, making you care about these characters, making you care about the story, that nowadays is just pissed away. And the other movie we're going to talk about tonight, but not on this podcast, is a perfect example of that.
It's like the opposite. It's just
oh my God, the quite literal opposite. But that, and the one thing that surprised me was throughout this entire movie, I saw maybe, and we're talking like a packed theater, man. I didn't see one fucking seat except for the guys down in the front where there was like nobody in the front row. I think I saw 5 people get up to go to the bathroom in 3 hours.
Ouch.
Yeah, the rest of us were fucking just enraptured. You know, the rest of us were really, I imagine, really enjoying it because it was a mad dash for the bathroom after it was done. But it was, I really enjoyed it. Was really impressed by it.
Trust me, if you're going to this movie and have to sit for 3 hours, you can pretty much go anytime.
Also,
Any Florence Pugh scene?
this was the first time I watched the movie, so you could argue that it broke my Oppenheimer. See your doctor, kids.
Did you notice any audio issues in our IMAX? Nothing. That
No,
bothered
nothing
you?
obvious. But the one thing that was a great subverting your expectations, I guess is the only way to think of it, is I thought when the bomb went off, we would hear a massive boom, right? Instead,
Yeah.
you hear nothing, and you hear the reactions of the people watching it, like Oppenheimer and all those different scientists and whatnot.
Because they
And then
didn't
you hear
realize they thought it would be right away.
and then you hear the shockwave, and I was
Yeah.
like, "That was so." And every time they would blow up a bomb, it was, and I can't remember that effect. It's got a specific name where you see it and you hear it afterwards.
Like thunder,
Yeah,
lightning and thunder.
I love that that level of authenticity and scientific actuality. You know what I mean? Like this is really how it would be. I was really, really impressed by stuff like that.
I noticed some muddiness in the audio, especially at the starting of the movie. And I don't know if that's something similar to what people have experienced when Spider-Man came out.
Oh, really? No,
There was a muddiness there too, and they had to re-release a cut, like
I thought that was
full-on film.
I thought that was a fix with some of the animation of Gwen's dad that I had heard. But I don't know.
I
You
just,
follow that
I
shit
just
better
know
than
they. I didn't follow it. I just heard that they.
Oh, you follow it.
re-released it to theaters.
Anything with Gwen Stacy, you better believe he follows and downloads the pictures
I actually
and keeps
have
them on his computer.
the comic books on my
Of course
laptop
you do.
right
Oh,
now,
of course.
or
Oh.
tablet.
Funny how you brought along tissues. I won't say what that's for.
I thought that was for later.
Yeah, when you're looking at Gwen Stacy pictures.
Oh, is that
Pig.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, what did you think of the film, Philip?
I liked it a lot. It's in that same type of camp as the pianist, like
That's right, the penis.
the penis.
Penis. Spider-Man and the multiverse of penis.
What?
The penis.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the other movie, but I didn't write it down.
It's a movie about a pianist.
Yeah, the penis,
The penis.
the penis,
Penis.
penis pump.
The penis. The pumped up penis.
Pumped
It's all
up
about a
penis.
movie about a penis who's also a wrestler to the steroids. The pumped up penis.
That would do well. You have The
Probably
Rock
would. The Rock
or John
to do it.
Cena, either one. I think that the early years of Oppenheimer was just pointless.
You think so? I thought it.
Like
I thought
when
it had
he
a
was
great.
a student.
No, I
dumb.
enjoyed it. I think it's. They were very sparing with it. Like the stuff of him being a student. I think there's only like one or two shots of it, and then it goes immediately to him being a teacher. I thought it was useful for setting up the character that he was. That he has the potential. I think they were trying to set up, in my opinion, I might be totally fucking wrong, but it's like they set up the potential that he could kill a person because that's what he wants to do. He injects his that apple with cyanide.
His indifference to it.
But then he realizes, no, I can't be directly responsible. And then he wrestles with the fact that he is directly responsible for creating this bomb. So I think it was more of a setup of, now I can't do this, and then him having to live with the fact that he did create it later on. But I can't think of... The only parts I would take out are the Florence Pugh parts. I understand why they were there for the story.
Yeah.
I feel like those parts could have been done. I know they were done in flashback, but yeah, less. Like they just felt sometimes.
I didn't need to
unimportant.
learn about his sexual interests, what he was into, what she was into.
Yeah, I
didn't need to.
I just don't like Florence Pugh
you
as
could
an
say,
actress.
oh,
So.
you could just quickly graze over the fact that she died. Like,
Yeah, I
get it, but
I did like that they. Did
They
you
made it
notice
artsy.
that when she is drowning, there's one shot of a hand holding her head down? I love that because then you're like, well, was she killed or not? And they never go after it again.
There's
I
a
like that a lot.
theory out there that this movie is like him recollecting, like his memory of the events, so it's his view of everything that went down. So it's what's the word, like when you're, it's your opinion on your view, like of how
I believe it's called Oppenvision.
Yeah, Oppenvision. So next time it'll be Pew Vision.
Pew Vision. That sounds pornographic.
Sounds
pew pew pew.
Sounds religious, really. Florence Vision.
How many altar boys do you think have had to deal with Pew Vision?
Is that like a red eye?
That's why they have. That's why they have a little knee thing that you can lay down on or kneel down on in the pews.
I just think this movie should have been cut down to like 2 hours and a half.
Well,
Get rid of a lot of like the sloggy parts. Like I don't think it's even like anyone. I would say some of the early student stuff things. Yes, get rid of that. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I get that it's setting his view and stuff, and the stupid stuff with like his political approach.
Yeah.
And I get how it mingles
Ties
with
into
the
the
end.
story,
Like
yeah.
during the story, I was like, I don't care. Like this doesn't matter. And then they made it matter. So I
enjoyed
get
that.
it. But they just spent too much time on these things.
Who would you say was the most surprising performance of the entire movie?
Iron Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I was
Iron Man's in there with the Hulk. And
I was very impressed by Josh Hartnett. I've written that guy off as a fucking, unable to blink, flash in the pan from the 90s and early 2000s. I was extremely surprised to see him. And then after I watched this, I watched the episode of Black Mirror that he's in. And I was really impressed. I was like, holy shit, did this guy go to fucking act? I feel like he must have gone to acting classes. Because I was really impressed. I think he did a great fucking job.
You would think if he realizes his career has gone down, like he's not getting roles and such, you would think that he would go and do some more acting classes instead of just
I hope he
host.
did, because I thought he was great. And in Black Mirror, he was great. Very impressed by Cillian or Cillian Murphy, however you say his name. Very impressed by Matt Damon. The one actress or actor or whatever we're supposed to call him now, that I was not that impressed by was Emily. No, Florence Pugh I just don't like. So she didn't even come up in my thing of it. I didn't think Emily Blunt was really that interesting.
That's kind of my view on the general dude.
Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Really? I thought he was fantastic.
I thought it was a easy role.
I was impressed by him.
Yeah.
I thought he gave it.
I'm not an actor.
I thought he.
But
I thought
like this.
that role could have come off as a very whatever his name is from Marvel, General Ross, just kind of a figurehead. But I feel like he really gave him some character.
Sure,
But
yeah.
Emily Blunt, I didn't feel that at all. I figure
Emily Blunt was
his wife.
the main wife.
Yeah, his
Not
his
anyone
wife.
he was estranged with.
Not the unmain wife. The main. I like that. The main wife. Like me, I have a main wife and a second wife.
And all the other ones.
That's right. All my harem.
He's
but,
straight up anime here.
I expected more from her, and maybe that's how
Maybe it's the
Nolan
role,
told her
it's
to be.
just-
Yeah,
it is.
I just expected a lot
She
more.
was just there.
Yeah, I felt like all she did was be coy, and then be
Stupid.
sad. So the entire movie, be coy. Now we're recollecting the type of man that Oppenheimer was, and you find out that he was fucking Florence Pugh, and now be sad. That's it. And I wanted a bit more. I expected a lot more from her. I think she's a good actress, so I expected a lot more.
Not
from her.
just Pew.
Man, I got something in my throat. It's pissing me
Also
off.
the what was it? The teacher or what was it? They kept going to the parties and that woman would be there.
Yep,
So her too, and who knows who else?
it's true.
There's probably others.
He was having an Oppen harem.
He was a powerful man.
He was an Oppen pimp. No, that doesn't work. A Pimpenheimer.
I'm not
There we are.
going through the plot.
No,
No
don't
point.
go through the plot.
People should go see this.
Yes.
Is, like, we can go straight to rating it because what would you rate this movie
For me,
out of 10
neutron
Incredible Hulk.
bombs, 10 Incredible Hulks, I would have to give it 8, a solid 8. A solid, I'd say even 8.5. Because I was, and the one thing that makes it great for me was it was a great story, but I was worried that as soon as that bomb went off, the interest would start to wane. Quite the fucking opposite.
That's what surprised me is that it went from
that RDJ stuff was fantastic.
A lot of people don't realize this is like a 2-part thing.
Yeah,
they could have put it in 2 parts, but that would be silly for this type of story. But it goes from
spoil it.
It goes from the bomb that you're waiting for.
It bombed
into
all right.
The trial situation
Strauss,
of him getting kicked out of.
Well, there's the conversation of him being denied his security clearance, and then there is them discussing with Strauss, who is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, about the type of man that he was. Because Strauss, I believe, is going to go on the Supreme Court, but I do not. Yeah, some council. I do not remember.
He wants to join, and he get. Yeah.
And dude, Artie, I mean, we've all watched RDJ for so long as Iron Man that you forget what a good actor he is. And you get reminded to go back to stuff like Chaplin or even Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, where he's really acting. And in this movie, he's really acting.
And they get away from him. Like, you don't realize he's a prominent character. Like, it's a surprise.
Fantastic background actor that's always there, and then at the end, he's the guy that we all want to talk about. But solid 8.5. I really enjoyed it.
I'd give it an 8. I would have gone higher if it wasn't boring in parts.
You shouldn't go to the movie high because then you're not going to be able to enjoy it.
I thought it was the same director as Dune.
Oh, did you
when I was discussing with you after, because Rob's family watched my kids so that we could go. So,
kids? We only watched one.
Well,
we tied the other one in the backyard
and leaves Lego out.
So check this out. So Phil's son comes over and he's like, "Hey, I want to play with Lego." We're like, "All right, I don't give a shit." So he's playing with Lego and shit, and he's building some of it down here, and then building some of it in the movie room, and then building some of it upstairs.
That's weird. And
I'm like, "Okay, your parents coming over. Be sure to pick up all your Lego."
Was it Lego the whole time?
No, him and Elliot were doing Nerf shit and all sorts of stuff. So I'm like, all right, parents come clean up all your Lego, and he did clean up a lot.
Yeah.
But then I guess maybe like some stuff went under the couch or some stuff was too hard to see in the carpet. All the next day I'm walking, ow, fuck, stepping on Lego. Oh, goddamn.
What you don't realize is I told him to do it.
But and then Rob said he didn't pick up all the Legos. Like, I pick up what I saw.
Yeah.
I thought that was
He was
funny.
so shocked. He was like, oh. So I could tell he didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, he did.
If I would have planned in advance, sure.
He could have set up. I'm like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to leave Lego here, strategically where I'll be walking to step on it.
So if the movie wasn't as slow in parts and was cut down maybe a half an hour, it would probably get a higher rating from me. But I understand those parts are needed.
Much like Donald Trump's fan base, you're wrong.
I thought you were much like Donald Trump's fan base, they're needed.
You're a racist.
No, I didn't bring the sheet.
I didn't bring your sheets.
My sheep. It's only half an hour. That's
Holy
great.
fuck! It's only half an hour.
Nice
everyone.
when we don't do the plot, when I don't have to read.
Thank you for watching Watch and Complain. You can follow us on YouTube. I'm going to try to do it serious this time.
For half an hour.
Thank you for following us. Fuck. Thank you for... We're sorry you've been watching, but now you're going to have to cut all that out so I don't look like a fucking idiot when I'm trying to get it right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry you've been watching Watch and Complain. Please follow us on youtube.com/Watch and Complain and leave us comments and insults and tell us why we're wrong about Oppenheimer, and tell Phil that I am better at working on
Your problem.
household
Oh, yeah, we've done that.
fixings. What's the word I'm looking for? Renovations. There's the word I'm looking for.
Putting up a
Fixings.
garage room that doesn't exist because of bylaws. And
No, it's allowed to exist.
bath
It's just not allowed to be
tubs.
a bedroom because it has no windows or like any way to breathe out of it.
So
If
you
there's a
can't
fire,
sleep in there.
you can't call it a room.
So that's what you tell the women.
That's
when
right.
you're in
All the
trouble.
women I kidnap and throw in there.
No,
It's not
no,
a room.
not those women.
It's not a robe.
Those
lay
women
there,
are-
lay there in the sleeping bag. I've tied you up and be quiet.
Those women are
It's
in
not a robe.
freezers.
Yes, my bathroom still continues. The reno on my bathroom. Phil's gonna put up pictures of it here. You're not gonna be able to because I haven't put up any pictures of it. Oh, that's not true. I put up like one or two.
We just using the same picture of your dad working on the
My dad worked on it.
shower.
But yeah, it's almost done. I've got to put in one little tiny bit of flooring between the bedroom and the bathroom. And then once I put that little piece of floor down, I put a divider in. Then I can do the trim around the door. And then caulking of the baseboard. And painting of the trim. And I think... Oh, no, mirror. Got to put a mirror in. And then I'm done. Isn't that exciting, everyone? Sorry.
Watchingcomplaint.com.
You complain.
That's
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop before you get a chance to. Stop, stop, stop.